Yo, what's going on, everybody? MrHereticC here. This is the story of Edgar Swann, or as you might know him, the super mutant behemoth in Boston Commons named Swann. Before the Great War, Edgar Swann was a low-level worker employed at the Commonwealth Institute of Technology who found himself on the wrong end of the law after stealing cigarettes. He initially believed his trial worked out in his favor, though, as he was offered probation in the form of living in isolation for a month while being provided food, water, and shelter, and only required to write in a journal. Unbeknownst to Swann, he had actually been infected with an experimental strain of the forced evolutionary virus, and his probation was a ruse for researchers to observe its effects on a human. By the sixth day of probation, Swann realized something was wrong when the scientist returned for additional tests. He chronicled in his journal that his body ached and he felt jittery and agitated. His mind was racing and he felt as if he could hardly write. He knew the scientist had done something to him, but he was not aware of what it was. 2 weeks into the experiment, Swann's FEV-borne condition stabilized and improved by all accounts, noting a threefold increase in muscle mass and a major increase to intellectual capacity. Swann was finally told it was FEV that was causing his condition, but he was enthusiastic about it, even applying for membership to the research team and anticipating assisting in his own experiment. However, by the third week of the experiment, Swann realized that his mental faculties were backsliding. He experienced seizures and was returned to the observation lab. His remaining mental acuity helped Swann realize that his prognosis was poor, the viral strain he was infected with was fundamentally unstable. From then on, his health rapidly deteriorated, and he knew that the seizures were only the beginning of the side effects he would endure. He anxiously awaited to discover his own fate, worrying the scientists would reject him as they had done with so many others. Swann's fear of being exiled from the lab and left to suffer were eventually realized, as he was dumped out into the Commonwealth to die. Wandering aimlessly, the degenerating Swann found his way to Boston Common, an abandoned park in downtown ruins, where he made his home in the groundskeeper's shack, including keeping his written journal. Sometime later, Edgar Swann finally lost his mind to the mutation and fully transformed into a super mutant, and by 2287 had mutated further into a behemoth that could only shout his last name and decorated himself in the destroyed fragments of the old Swann-themed paddle bolts as improvised armor. The pond where Swann presently resides came to be considered extremely dangerous and a place that wastelanders avoid at all cost. Makeshift signs warn of Swann's presence as one approaches the Boston's Common, and the bodies of victims who did not heed the warnings are left strewn around this area. You can find his journal at Swann's Pond. There are 4 logs, and they are around the shack. Day 1. So I nipped a few cigs. Big deal. Smartasses may run this place, but they can't do whatever they want. I got rights. Trial worked out for me in the end. They agreed to probation. I stay inside for a month, write something every day, and they'll bring me all the food and water I want. They think this is punishment. Sure beats scrubbing floors all day. Day 6. Should have known something was wrong when they came back for more tests. Every bone in my body aches. I'm on edge all the time, jittery, can barely write, but my mind's just racing. What's going on? What did they do to me? Day 14. My physiological evolution seems to have stabilized. The medical team says my muscle mass has more than tripled since the experiment began, and my neural efficiency has improved markedly. This particular strain of modified FEV has been remarkable success. I appear to have received all the anticipated benefits without the typical adverse effects. My application to join the research team is awaiting the director's approval. Although further tests may be in order, I hope to be able to assist with my own experiment in the coming days. Day 21. Seizures continue. After the second one this morning, I was ordered back to the observation lab for further study. My prognosis is poor. I made the discovery myself. The viral strain I was infected with is fundamentally unstable. My mental capacity peaked 2 days and has begun rapidly deteriorating. The seizures are just the beginning. Will they reject me like all the others? If you like this, please remember to like, follow, subscribe. Appreciate it, y'all.